This video is brought to you by...
Hey, girl, come support, man. Come on now.
Exactly, man. Big love in the city, man. Stop the trap on the
I'm
boys,
gonna support my brother, man, my black brother. The price is right. Treat yourself. Don't beat yourself.
Exactly.
Beat your feet down the street and get one of these cool green headbands. Do you understand what I'm saying, my man? Deuces, holla back, cool green dude.
Exactly, man. Let them know, man, what you love about that cool green.
If you're not cooling and getting the green, then you gotta get out the way. You know what it is.
Exactly, man.
You know
exactly, man. I couldn't have said it no better. What is going on, YouTube fam? This your boy Tony 2Times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to smash that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story. I got a crazy one for y'all today, man. If you're new to the family, be sure to tap that notification bell for uploads after you subscribe, of course. But let's get right into it, man. In some situations, a person's actions and the way they are could be traced back to experiences in life. And that is a common thing, as most people's personalities are a reflection of what they have been through or seen. But sometimes, mental problems get overlooked, leaving the person with the issues free to roam and left with their own thoughts, which could be dangerous, especially if that person has a pattern of crazy behavior. I never understood the whole hurting myself or others behind a relationship, a breakup, or something in that nature. But for some people, in their minds, that's the only option. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we will take it all the way back, 22 years to be exact, to the year 2000, and discuss a crime spree that left people gone, even the suspect, in a 4-day standoff with police. According to sources, Joe Palczynski, nicknamed Joby, was born November 11th, 1968, in a stable and loving household. Joe seemed to be a normal kid until a school bus incident when he was 14 years old. Allegedly, the bus would crash and Joe would suffer head injuries. And according to his parents, this is when Joe's behavior started to change. He would often zap out about small things and get violent, causing the young man to go back and forth to mental health facilities, and he was diagnosed with having just psychotic episodes at first, given medicine and sent home. But as Joe got older, it was clear something was seriously wrong. Those close to him often referred to the young man as Jekyll and Hyde, and Joe would often tell people, especially girlfriends, it was two people living inside of his head, Joby number 1 and Joby number 2. Joby number 1 was cool, laid back, outgoing, but Joby number 2 was short-tempered and liked to hurt people and play with guns. To keep Joe happy, his mother often bought him expensive gifts, nice cars, jet skis, pretty much whatever he wanted. With the whips and money, Joe would use that to impress young ladies. And according to ex-girlfriends, everything would start off fine. Joe would even win over their parents, spoil the young ladies, all the way until he got mad or they tried to leave the relationship. Then Joby number 2 would come out. Allegedly, Joe would go as far as threatening whole families, showing up to places uninvited, stalking, and putting hands on any female that tried to leave him. This started at about 17 years old, and the pattern continued. Throughout prison stays and mental evaluations, where the young man will often get probation and be released, or doctors telling him nothing was wrong, it was all in his head and his mental was fine. But patterns never changed as Joe got older. Joe went on dating high school girls, even as he was way much older than him, and controlling them, and when they tried to leave, he was zapped out. Finally, after a standoff with police all the way in Idaho, where he barricaded himself in an apartment and threatened to shoot everyone in the neighborhood, Joe was sent back to Baltimore, sent to Baltimore County Jail on probation violations, and finally diagnosed with bipolar, paranoid schizophrenia. After his release from jail, Joe met at the time 20-year-old Tracy Whitehead at a grocery store. Things like always with Joe would start off smooth, but somewhere down the line, things got physical as Tracy started to realize who exactly she was dealing with. But Tracy told friends and family she stuck by Joe because he helped her stay clean off of drugs and she never missed work when he was normal. But during his mental breaks, Joe would repeat all the behaviors from previous relationships. And after 18 months, Tracy decided she had had enough, and the couple broke up in March 2000. Due to Joe being arrested for allegedly putting hands on Tracy. Joe's people tried to get Tracy to change her story, stating if you charge him, you will definitely read about him in the paper. Joe would be locked up, but released on bail a day later. After he was home, he convinced a neighbor to buy him a shotgun and rifle the next day. And on March 7, 2000, Joe would start looking for Tracy, who at the time was staying with friends who wanted to keep her safe from Joe. George and Gloria Schenck were living in Middle River, Baltimore County, when one day Joe showed up to the apartment and begged Tracy to talk. When she refused, Joe snapped, letting off shots, hitting both George and Gloria, leaving them gone. Before grabbing Tracy, a neighbor tried to help after hearing the commotion, but he was shot as well and gone on the scene. Joe was able to get Tracy in the car. The whole ride, allegedly threatening her, but in a blink of an eye, his mood would change. He took Tracy to the woods, put a ring on her finger, and admitted it was bad timing, but asked Tracy to marry him. Later, they stopped at a motel, but once they saw Joe's face all over the news, they quickly left. This gave Tracy a time to escape, but she ran and escaped into a police car. But Joe wasn't finished yet. He would carjack a pregnant mother and mother of a 1-year-old, Lynn McDonald, and unfortunately take her life as well. As time went on, police were looking, as by this time, 4 bodies had dropped. Baltimore County police were on a manhunt for Joe. Joe ended up threatening the man to drive him back to Baltimore and buy him camping equipment. Next, Joe went to Tracy's family's home in Dundalk, Maryland, and broke in, taking Tracy's mother, her mother's boyfriend, and son hostage. He tied everyone up, and the case had national attention by this time, and the standoff had neighbors scared. As one of the people in the house allegedly slipped Joe a Xan after 4 days of standing off with Baltimore County police, they were able to get inside and get Tracy's family out. Once they ran in, according to sources, in order to get Joe down, because he was not going lightly, 27 shots were let off. Joe was hit and of course left gone at the scene. Family and friends felt as though that was way too much and stated he was unarmed. And only if Joe would have had properly been diagnosed, none of this would have happened. But it was all over. Joe's ex-girlfriends came out and said they could see Joe doing something like this from a mile away. But allegedly, Joe would play around with his mental state, seeming like he was fine one minute, only showing his other side to manipulate people or get what he wants. So some feel as though Joe was normal. More of this story, if you are dealing with mental health, definitely get help. It doesn't make you weak. And if you know someone who might need help, get on top of that ASAP before it leaves innocent people gone. Rest in peace to all the victims in this case. I send my prayers and condolences to the family. Man, crazy story, you feel me? Definitely let me know what y'all think about this one, man. You know, it's an older story, but this a requested video. This a good story. So y'all leave in the comments how y'all feel about this, man. It's a lot that happened in this situation. Y'all go check out the story, man. There's so much more levels to this and details, but you know, this was the most of it, you feel me? The majority of it, man. But yeah, Joe definitely had some issues going on. A lot of people played with it to cater to him, but we see what happened, man. But yeah, I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This your boy Tony 2 times. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. I'm out.